Hey everybody, welcome back. This is a long video, so I'd recommend maybe popping a bag of popcorn, making a snack, or just putting me on in the background while you listen to these battles. This is 25 minutes, 3 back-to-back-to-back sets with some insane spice on the team. Shiny Shadow Salamence on lead, Shiny Shadow Gallade is our normal safe swap, and then Shadow Venusaur is our pretty much the tank of the team. He can take some damage, but also deal some pretty solid offensive damage. Into the first battle, and we see a horrible lead. This Pokemon beats everybody but Venusaur, and we have to swap it into Venusaur, try to crawl back to some sort of an advantage. They counter swap us with a horrible Pokemon for us. So we build up to the CMP tie, throw the Sludge Bomb. This will do some pretty solid neutral damage, but we have to keep this Venusaur alive. So let's see what we want to do. We want to shield this, and then probably going to have to shield another move coming from the Mana Buzz, and then try to get a little bit creative. So here we go. Now that we've shielded, though, the opponent knows that we're backed up into the corner, so they might even give us a shield here, keep the Mana Buzz alive, fight for switch, and they do. So we've got to do this double shield. We're shields down, in a horrible position so far. Let's see what we can do to come out of this. We might have to say goodbye to one of our Pokemon here to catch, and we do. There goes the Salamence. Throw it in. This is good, though, because it will bait out the Wigglytuff again and force the opponent to either give us a shield or give us the Wigglytuff. We have no shields left, so let's see what they want to do. They do sneak in a move there, which is annoying. We got the one turn bring in, but that's just how the game is. They give us the shield, and then now it's all up to Gallade. But you're going to see here the charm damage from the Wigglytuff is going to eat through the Gallade. So we're going to be trying to crawl back and KO 2 Pokemon after we get this Wigglytuff out of here with only one Pokemon that's at like, what, 10% HP? No, that's higher than that, so that's not too shabby. In comes the Mana Buzz. If we can outpace, we can see the third Pokemon, but we just can't. That was a really, really uphill battle, and we just could not crawl back to get any sort of an advantage there. So tough loss for the first set, but like I said, these are 3 back-to-back-to-back crazy battle sets. So we'll see some insane battles here. Just you guys wait. Incredible lead in the first battle. Shadow Victory Bell, great for the Shadow Salamence, and they save swap Dunsparce. So we can see that this Gallade can actually tank some damage from this Pokemon. Super glassy Pokemon, but Dunsparce also doesn't hit all that hard, so we can just force the opponent to either give us a shield or give us switch here. And again, trying to keep the opponents on their toes here. They give us a shield, and they don't throw their move immediately, so we get to put them on really their toes. They've got to give us either both shields or give us switch, give us switch, and they do give us both shields. So now we're at a 2 shield advantage against this Pokemon. I'm gonna come with the Venusaur. I probably will shield something here because I want to keep this thing alive. I don't know what they have in the back, but I can tank one for sure. So I might let the next one go. And here we go. Yeah, letting this one go. And then have to be mindful of the opponent getting a little bit creative here once I get to the Frenzy Plant. And then there it is. They tried to catch the Frenzy Plant, but I was going to farm up anyway. So this is perfect for me. Farm up a little bit more, throw the Sludge Bomb, take this Pokemon out, see a Shadow Victory Bell, and then in comes the Dunsparce again. I don't want this Pokemon in the game anymore, so I'm just going to get it out of here and then take it out and see what their last Pokemon is. It's a Primeape. Okay, so this game is so over, and the opponent knows it. They stop tapping. They let us get to this Fly, and that's just game over. This Fly does monumental damage to a Primeape. Primeape's a pretty glassy Pokemon. It actually wins CMP against a lot of Pokemon that I use, which is generally kind of wild. I use pretty high attack Pokemon. But there we go, first win of the set, and then let's get into the next battle. So we're 1-1 right now. Not amazing, but again, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can do any better. And then, yeah, this was a really, really fun team to run. I did not really expect it to do that well, especially in the Open Great League where everybody can bring anything. Pretty neutral lead, so I'm just going to swap right out into the Gallade. And they counter swap us with a really solid counter for our Gallade. So let's see what we can do here. I do believe I can get to 2 Leaf Blades here. And they gave us a shield there, so that's pretty nice. They might have been fearing a Synchro Noise, but that'd be kind of a wild pick on Gallade. Although, spoiler alert, I did build one on the last community day, so eventually we will see that. It's not shiny, so that's not as fun, but it is a Shadow Gallade with Synchro Noise, and one of these days, it's going to come in handy. So come in here, farm down with the Salamence, get some energy, and then see what the opponent wants to do. They're going to come in with the Stunfisk again, so I'm going to immediately swap. In comes the Dragonite, so they're running a double Dragon backline. Throw the Sludge Bomb, make them give us a shield, or make them give us this Dragonite. And they give us the Dragonite. So now it's just two Pokemon against one, but they do have an energy advantage on us. So let's see what we can do to get out of here. Shield up, of course. We have to get this Frenzy Plant off, either pull the last shield or just take out this Pokemon. So I'm guessing they'll just give us the shield. And then It's all up to a no shielded Salamence to take this win for us. The opponent does a great job over farming. That's kind of unfortunate for us, but let's see how it goes for us. In comes the Salamence. They're going to get to a move here. And let's see if the Salamence has what it takes to tank this damage. And it can. Let's go. And we get off this fly. It's resisted damage. But again, it's a Salamence. It's Shadow. It does a lot. And it's enough to get the KO. Let's go. That's a huge, huge win. I was really on the edge of the seat there when I was battling. I was like, I don't know if this is going to take it out. But the Dragon Tail that snuck through did end up putting him pretty low. So it worked out well for us. And then into the fourth battle here. Horrible, horrible lead. Oh my god. This Pokemon beats, again, our entire Pokemon, especially the Powder Snow version. So we got to get creative here. We're throwing a resisted Leaf Blade. We're baiting. We need to try and outpace this Pokemon eventually. And they give us a shield. That's perfect. But if you can bait it successfully once, why not do it again? So let's do it. Leaf Blade again. Is the opponent going to expect this? They are not. They give us a shield. There was a bit of a visual bug there, but that's okay. They did give us the shield. And now we can outpace. So I'm just going to build up. I don't think I get careful at all. We have to use the shield. We need to get this Alolan Sandslash out of the game if we want to have any chance to come back. And we do overfarm a little bit there. That's nice. Get this thing out of here. I just want this thing off the opponent's team. And there it goes. Now we're in the fight. But they come up with an Azumarill. This Pokemon also not great for our team. So we're going to go throw this Leaf Blade. Does huge, huge damage with the super effective Grass type. And they come in, start farming up. They can throw a super effective Ice Beam. But again, Azumarill, very tanky Pokemon, doesn't hit all that hard. We can live it. So we're going to keep farming, keep farming, keep farming. Throw right as they get to their move. But they send in a Morpeko. So they do successfully catch, but it just takes out the Morpeko. And I think, yeah, that's game. So they didn't have enough energy to build up there. Even if they took out the Venusaur, I think they would have had to throw a move against us. And then the Salamence could just come in and farm it down. So really, really close game. We had to fight hard for that game. The double bait was successful, and that is what kept us in that game. Into a pretty decent lead here. This Pokemon does do a lot of damage to us, so we'll see what they want to do, or even what we want to do. Probably just want to get as much damage off as possible, and then maybe try to farm down with Gallade once we lose this. So we're going to kind of like soft lose this matchup, which I don't mind. We pull a shield advantage. We do some pretty heavy damage to this Pokemon. And then we're just going to come in, use our shields, and then just farm this thing down. And then, again, like I've said before, Shadow Gallade with energy stored up is a huge, huge threat to Pokemon, especially in the Great League. We can just generally one-shot things. And the coverage on this Pokemon, pretty good for the current meta. So they actually threw a Cross Poison. So they could have maybe one-shot our Salamence in that lead matchup if they had thrown the Cross Poison instead of the Lunge. But here we go. There's a Dunsparce, and we do great against this. We build up to 2 close combats. They give us a shield. That's a mistake, because guess what? I have another one, and we throw it. And this is going to do huge damage. I thought that it would actually KO, but it doesn't, so I swap. They're trying to take out the Gallade as quickly as possible, and I bring in the Venusaur, catch the Drill Run, and this is pretty much game over. Unless they have like a really, really hard counter to us in the back, it's over. But it's a Feraligatr. We can one-shot this with the Venusaur, and that is amazing. There's a lot of water types in the meta and a lot of mud slappers in the meta. So I wanted to run double grass backline, or like a grass type and a pseudo grass with the Gallade. But as we'll see here soon, there's a new Pokemon in the meta. It's this little guy, Rookidee. Corviknight is its evolution. Very, very good meta player. It's a steel flying type. Just kind of shuts down grass types. I was expecting to see a ton of them in these battles. So I needed to run a grassline meta, or a grassline team that could deal with it. And you wouldn't really expect this team to deal with it all that well, but we'll see in later battles that it actually handles it pretty decently. Bastiodon lead, though, horrible for this Salamence. So we have to save swap in. We do have a really, really great answer in Gallade in the back, but we need to try and get it aligned to it, so have to save swap into our Venusaur. And then they're just going to stay in, though, which I'm also completely fine with. I want to get as much damage off as possible against this Pokemon. So gonna throw this Frenzy Plant whenever we get to good timing, or at least decent timing. I don't know if that was fully optimal, but throwing this Frenzy Plant, and then they just let it go. So I'll take that. And in comes a Sableye. This Pokemon, not really ideal for our Gallade in the back. So let's see what we can do to get out of this. Throw the Frenzy Plant. I don't want them to farm up a bunch of energy, so we swap in, and they bring in the Azumarill. So this is pretty tough for us. I build up to when they get to the Ice Beam, hoping that they would just throw instantly, and they do. So we get this fly off. And then they can't really get much farm because this is double super effective against our Salamence, and it's going to take us out. And then let's see what we want to do here. We might come in with the Gallade. I'm not too sure. We do come in with the Gallade. We do still have a shield, so we're safe from any of the charge moves from this Azumarill. But they do have the Sableye in the back, which really threatens the Gallade. So let's see what they want to do. They let it go. They're putting all their chips on Sableye. And then let's see what we can do. So we throw this Leaf Blade. I think going to pull the last shield. I think it has to, right? And then it does. So we build up to the Leaf Blade. Get out. We want to do as much fast move damage as possible. Try and put this thing into Leaf Blade range. And this is where all of our bets are placed. We just need this move to KO. And it does. Let's go. So Gallade once again closing for us in an amazing way. Doing just enough damage to that Sableye to get the win. And then here's what, I guess battle number 5. This is the final battle of the set. No, this is the second set. What am I even doing? But okay, first battle of the next set is a win, so that's great. Pidgeot. This is a tricky Pokemon. So I'm just going to stay in with the Salamence, deal as much fast move damage as possible, and then probably try to switch out. I want to bank this energy that I've built up for later. But they have the same idea. So they come out with the Bibarel, and that's great for me. So I'm just going to throw this Leaf Blade. I don't know if this does enough damage just to totally take this Pokemon out. So they might have to shield it. But they just let it go. And it does do enough damage. And now we're in a tricky spot where they've got a ton of energy. But I think I'm going to use my shields here where I can. And try and just see that third Pokemon. And then come in with the Pokemon that I want to come in with. And they give us the shield. They're going to throw a move. I have to shield it. They do double debuff us, which is annoying. But here, I've got a move to throw. It's a Primeape and back, and this is just game over. I mean, I see the wall, and there's writing all over it. The second the opponent sees their Venusaur, it's going to be game over. And yeah, they stop tapping. They give us the concession, and that's it. That was a great Pokemon for us to see in the back line for us to finish out that win. We had a fly banked on the Salamence, so the opponent could not shield any move coming from our Venusaur. And I don't even know if they had any shields left to give. So that was just game. Interesting lead in the beginning. We do resisted fast move damage with the Salamence, but they switch out, and they switch out into Goodra, so I'm like, okay, do some solid damage, switch into the Gallade. They're going to outpace us to a move here, which is a bit unfortunate. I wanted to try and kind of squeeze that out, maybe do a CMP tie there, but we farmed up way too much on the Salamence for that. And then, going to throw a move here. I doubt the opponent's going to shield this, but they do. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to shield again, farm all the way down with the Gallade. We've got some residual energy built up on the Salamence, and we're about to have a ton of energy on this Gallade. So this is going to be great. What do they come in with? They come up with the Ferrothorn, and we can just OHKO it. We can one-shot KO this Pokemon with our close combat. So again, making the opponent make a decision. And here we go. They don't give us the shield, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take extra damage from that Pokemon because I debuffed myself, so I just got right out. I have the moves banked. I know what I can throw later on. But coming in with the Venusaur, it's the healthiest Pokemon. And it's a pretty solid matchup against this Toxapex. Again, Toxapex, a super bulky beast. But they can OHKO us here with the Sludge Wave, which they do. And now we have 2 really weak Pokemon. But we have residual energy everywhere. So let's see what we can do to come out of this. Come in, try to get to 2 Leaf Blades. But again, just don't have enough gas in the tank. Not enough HP on this Gallade. So we only get to 1 move. So I guess I technically could have thrown the close combat there because it does a little bit more damage. But again, energy everywhere. We outpace them to their next charge move and get to this fly. And this is enough to take out the Toxapex. So again, another one in the books. Super close. It was all up to no shields. Basically no HP on our last 2 Pokemon. And we were still able to come out with the win. Just with energy stored everywhere on our Pokemon. And then into this next battle. We're sitting around like, what, 2200 elo? Oh my god. This Pokemon is tough for this team. It does super effective fast move damage against Salamence, super effective fast move damage against, Gallade, and then it does super effective charge move damage against both Gallade and Venusaur. But they throw an Energy Ball, so that clues me into the fact that they're running Energy Ball and Acrobatics. So that really improves my matchup against this Pokemon with my Venusaur. And I'm like, okay, fair. Gonna come in, gonna shield. This should be an Acrobatics unless they're baiting me. And it is the Acrobatics, and then that might just be game over. Because normally these teams have water type backlines. So if they don't shield this Sludge Bomb, we should have a really solid chance to take this game. And yep, we get the KO with the Sludge Bomb, and the opponent's like, oh, I can't do anything. Okay, yep, that was game. So whatever they had in the back really did not want to see our Grass type. And little did they know, we had a whole nother pseudo Grass type in the back to deal with also whatever they had in the back. So that was a great game. Really tricky to lead. But like I said, Corviknight's everywhere. So let's see how we play this out. We do double resist their fast move damage sand attack, which is pretty nice. And I'm like, let's do some science. How much can this Salamence tank this damage? They only throw an Iron Head, and look at that. That did so much damage. But again, double resist fast move. They can't KO me by farming me down, unless it's like a little bit later. So I throw this move, pull a shield, hot swap into the Gallade, putting the pressure onto the opponent. We're going to outpace them to some charge moves here. And then we can threaten the KO or shield with this close combat. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. Again, farming up as much as we possibly can with this Gallade, just so that we have some gas in the tank for whatever Pokemon comes in if this Pokemon goes down. And it does. So what's in the back? It's a Feraligatr. We can one-shot this with a Leaf Blade. And then we might even be able to get to another Leaf Blade. But we did double debuff ourselves, so it's going to hurt. Yep, double debuff came back to bite us. They get the farm down. And we've got our Venusaur, which is a great matchup against this Feraligatr. But they have way more energy than we do. So had to get creative, tried to catch, but they predicted that. Swapped into their, what is this, Diggersby? And tricky for us, right? But this Diggersby doesn't do that much damage. So I'm just going to tank this move, farm up a ton of energy, throw it the last possible second. This is a CMP tie, so we could not do any more farming there. And then we have enough HP to live the Shadow Claw, and then we get it off against the Feraligatr. That's game. GG's. Sorry about that. That was a really, really close game. We came out of the wire, but we were able to clutch out the win there, and that is huge. And then, yeah, well, that was a 5-0. That's huge. I don't know why I Penat Berry this Fletchling. I don't really use Talonflame at all. It's kind of like too mainstream meta for me, so I don't really have one built, I don't even think. But let's see what we can get into in these next battles. This is the final set of the video. And we only have like maybe like 8 minutes left, so these are all pretty quick battles. And it's a Morpeko lead. So I just want to shield my Salamence and farm this thing down as much as possible. Although, they didn't build up enough. This is just a Psychic Fangs. I actually tanked that on the Shadow Salamence, which is crazy. And then they swap into a Mudboy. So I'm going to build up as much as I can, throw this fly, pull a shield, and let's see what we can do here. Hot swap into the Gallade after pulling the shield. They're going to outpace us to move, so I think we'll have to give them multiple shields here. But again, Gallade is just such a really, really good Pokemon with residual energy. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm building up a ton of energy. I'm going to be able to take out this Marowak. And then let's see what they want to do. So yeah, throw it to the last possible second. I want to keep some HP on my Pokemon in case they have the Morpeko come back in, so I can at least live some of those Thunder Shocks. And that's exactly what I think they're about to do. I think in their head, they thought they could farm me down. But we've got way too much energy, and we've got just a little bit too much health. So we throw one Leaf Blade. Again, they give us a shield thinking they can farm us down, but they can't. We live on like 1 HP. Get this second Leaf Blade off, and that takes out the Morpeko. So now it's Venusaur against whatever they have in the back, and it's an Abomasnow. They deal super effective damage against our Venusaur, and they have an energy lead. So what we have to do is make a catch. We had to predict 2 things there. When they were going to throw and what move that they were going to throw. They threw the Icy Wind, so they had to build up a little bit more energy. And we made the prediction correctly, and now we can outpace them with a super effective Sludge Bomb. And you can see, I'm heated in that battle. I was so excited. Such fast, like, kind of swirls around the bubbles. But we get that win. It was down to the wire. It was a crazy battle, and we ended up coming away with the win, so that's huge. And then into the next battle here. This team, again, really, really spicy, really, really glassy, but it was so much fun to run. And we ended up having some really good success with it, so I was like dumbfounded. I was like, oh my god, this has to go on YouTube. This is amazing. Hot swap into the Clodsire. This Pokemon's pretty tricky for this team. We just kind of need to use shields on it quite a bit. The Venusaur, not necessarily, but again, I can't really swap into my best counter for it, so sending in the Gallade now. Gonna give up a shield, but we did some solid damage to it. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. They stay in, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw. I've got back-to-back here, so if the opponent shields this, we can just get some damage off. They give us the shield, so we just throw it, which, I don't know, maybe a bit of a mistake. I wasn't sure if this would KO or not, so I probably could have just gone for some extra farm. It doesn't KO, which is kind of brutal for us, so let's see what we want to do here. Yep, we just let this Pokemon go, and now it's time for Salamence or Venusaur to help us get this next advantage. And it's Salamence time. So let's see what the next Pokemon is. It's a Dunsparce, so building up to 4. Gonna try and catch on the Venusaur, and it works. Let's go. So we've got a fly banked on the Salamence, and we just soaked this damage without having to use any shields, which is really, really nice. And then they're going to outpace us here, but let's see what the opponent wants to do. They swap out. It's Annihilate in the back, so we can really, really threaten with this Venusaur. Look at how much damage this does. Because they've got, well, they didn't use their shield, but it does like, what, like 80%, maybe more. And then the opponent throws on CMP here, which keeps us in the game. So we get this Venusaur, this Frenzy Plant off. The opponent has to shield it or we would take it out. And then now, it's Salamence. We have a shield left. They've got like no energy left. So we're going for the heavy hitting move. Draco Meteor. This move is so strong. It's stab, it's dragon type, it's a shadow Salamence. It's so strong that it double debuffs your attack after you throw it. The opponent knew it was over. They closed their app, made us wait there a little bit. That was kind of overkill. We didn't even really need the Draco Meteor. We barely even needed fly there. We might have been able to farm down if they threw. But that was another win for us, which is huge. And into the next battle. And this is what, like 2300 elo. So every time the Open Great Lead comes back, I do tank a little bit, just kind of figuring out what the meta looks like. This is a tricky lead for our Pokemon. I had to stay in here, do as much damage as possible, maybe get a shield or KO if they want to let us just get this move off. But let's see what they want to do. And they just KO our Pokemon. So that was kind of like the last possible second we could have thrown that move. And now we need to come in and farm with the Gallade. This Pokemon, again, like I've said, needs energy, but also we need to get rid of this Altaria because it double resists Grass type, and so our Venusaur cannot do anything against it. So we're farming it down with double resisted, or not double resisted, but really, really weak Psycho Cuts right now, which is still better than the double resisted Vine Whips. And they come out with a Golurk, so I'm going to throw one, throw this Leaf Blade, pull the last shield, and then just swap into the Venusaur. Put the pressure on, potentially farm down if they stay in. But I think what they're going to do is just concede. Yeah, so whatever they had in the back, probably another Mud Boy. So they could not handle that Venusaur in the back. So that ended up being a really, really tricky lead. But the way that we played it, we were able to come out on top and just set ourselves up well for their back line, which that's huge. I'll always take a win there. And then this Skuntank. Oh my god, I remember this Skuntank. So this thing does so much damage that I did not expect. But gonna get up here, build up. They outpace us here, which is a bit unfortunate. I give them a shield, and they bait us with a Trailblaze. That's double resisted. That's horrible for us. So I'm just going to bank this energy, try and come in and farm down with the Venusaur. And I'm like, no, I can't give them both of my shields this early. So I let this go, and this Crunch does monumental damage to my Pokemon. And then they come in with the Primeape. They get an energy lead. I think this game is over. There's no way we can come back from this. That was a horrible lead. I shouldn't have let that Crunch go, but I also really wasn't in a position to use my last shield. So this opponent, especially with that Trailblaze bait, just like really outplayed us. GG's to them. I'm not gonna let this. I'm not gonna shield this. This game is theirs. But this Rage Fish doesn't technically KO, so they've got to throw another one. But the game's over, so I'm just gonna let them have it. No shield it. Save a few seconds from both of our lives. But GG's opponent. That was a crazy team comp. Crazy bait on the Trailblaze, and then that Crunch just did so much damage to our Pokemon. Oh my god, that was unreal. When I saw that, like in the moment, I like audibly gasped. I was like, there's no way. I did not expect that much damage. And again, tricky lead. Wigglytuff, again, beats like our whole team except for Venusaur. And this is one of the few times where we will safe swap into the Venusaur because we need to try and just pull something out of a hat and come away with an advantage. And they safe swap into this Corsola. This Pokemon is so dang bulky. It eats that Frenzy Plant so well, but they throw. And so I'm like, okay, I can farm up a little bit, throw, make ourselves go even on shields or win switch here. And then let's see what the opponent wants to do. They give us a shield. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can get this farm down. No, but we can't. So they get the move off, but we get the farm down. So let's see what they want to do. We switch into the Gallade. Oh my god, it's a sprint. So we are getting a fast break going so that the opponent can outpace the Gallade, and we can either threaten really, really good neutral damage or potentially a KO. I'm not too sure what the numbers are. But we get the close combat off, which is amazing. We outpace them because of that hot swap. And they live on like 1 HP. So we come up with the Salamence. They bail out. They had to bail out. And they've got a Marowak in the back, which is a great matchup for our Salamence. So we come in, we throw the fly. They had a shield left, but they knew that they couldn't really use it because we had energy built up on our Venusaur. I don't think we technically had a move yet, so it was going to be a little bit close, but There we go. 4-1 set. So it was a 4-1, a 5-0, and a 4-1 with an insane team composition in the Open Great League, which was just, these were some electric battles I played through. I was having a blast with this team. Didn't see as many Corviknight as I was expecting to see, like when I built this team, but as we saw in that one video, this team handles Corviknight pretty well. And then this is me just kind of catching it. I thought this was a really cool encounter. But this week for Throwback Thursday, we've got some pretty fun Fantasy Cup battles. And then for next week in the regular upload, I think it's time. We're going to have to go for the triple shiny shadow. So until then, thank you guys and have a great night. I'm so excited for our next upcoming videos. See ya.